The village of Hollow's End had always been quiet, but in the heart of the town stood a single lantern that never went out. Every evening, it cast a pale, trembling light over the cobblestones, as if warning the villagers not to wander too far. No one knew who lit it, who tended it, or why it burned so stubbornly. Most ignored it. Most survived. I am Liora, and curiosity has always been my curse. My grandmother used to tell me stories about the lantern, how it appeared out of nowhere a century ago, how travelers who lingered too long never returned, how it watched. I never believed her, until the night I followed its light. The lantern burned at the edge of the square, swaying despite the still air. Its glow beckoned me toward the abandoned well nearby. I hesitated, the memory of every cautionary tale prickling my spine, but I could not resist. I had to know why it never went out. As I approached, the lantern's glow seemed to intensify. Shadows twisted unnaturally across the cobbles. I felt as if unseen eyes were following my every step. And then the whisper came. Not from the wind, not from the villagers, but from the lantern itself. A soft, almost melodic voice. "Do you see what I see?" I froze. A chill ran down my spine. "Who's there?" I demanded, though my voice felt hollow. The flame flickered violently. In its light, I saw a figure tall, thin, almost entirely black, yet outlined with glimmering golden threads, as if stitched from darkness and light. It had no face, but I could feel its gaze.
It raised a hand, pointing toward the well. Against every instinct, I obeyed.
Peering into the well, I expected emptiness or water. But there was neither. Instead, I saw a mirror world of the village, alive yet warped. Streets twisted into impossible angles. Houses leaned like they were listening, and in the center, the lantern burned brighter than ever, casting long, impossibly straight shadows. A movement caught my eye. Another figure approached the lantern, a reflection of myself. My reflection paused, turned to look at me directly through the well, and smiled. Not a welcoming smile. A knowing, predatory smile. It reached out from the reflection, its hand pressing against the surface, as though it could step into my world. Panic surged. I stumbled back, but the figure's voice echoed in my mind. The lantern chooses who walks its path, and now it has chosen you. I wanted to flee, to run, to wake from this nightmare, but something anchored me. Not fear, curiosity. I climbed into the well, into the mirror world, and the air shimmered around me. I landed on the cobblestones of the twisted village. The lantern's light illuminated everything except my reflection, which had stepped out from the mirror entirely. It spoke, in my own voice, "I am you, and I am the truth you refuse to see. This world." This lantern? It shows the paths you hide from, the paths you fear. Choose wisely.
I understood then.
Each villager, each traveler who disappeared, had been confronted with their reflection. Some fled, some submitted, some vanished entirely, their fears consuming them. And now, it was my turn. I ran through the warped streets, the reflection following silently, never touching but always present. Doors appeared where none existed before, twisting pathways, shadows that moved with intent. Every corner I turned, every choice I made, seemed predicted, calculated. I realized then that the lantern didn't merely illuminate, it judged. Hours or perhaps minutes. Time had no meaning. Exhausted, I reached the central square, where the lantern floated midair, higher than the rooftops. I climbed the steps leading to it, each footfall echoing like a drumbeat in an empty cathedral.
My reflection waited below, arms crossed, watching. I stretched my hand toward the flame.
It felt alive, like a heartbeat against my palm, and as I touched it, visions flooded my mind. The faces of the lost villagers, the mistakes I had made, the fears I had ignored, the desires I had denied. The lantern offered me a choice. Accept it, become its keeper, and see all paths of Hollow's End. Or refuse, step away, and be lost to the world as the others had been.
I hesitated, feeling the weight of centuries pressing down.
Then, steeling myself, I whispered, I will see. I will face it. The flame roared, light spilling over the twisted village, banishing shadows and revealing truths hidden in the alleys and windows. My reflection froze, then smiled faintly, bowing before fading back into the mirror, leaving me alone with the lantern. I had survived the first trial, but the lantern would not be sated with one hand. Hollow's End would continue to test me, and I would learn that every choice, every glance, every heartbeat mattered. And the next traveler who approached might find a different path entirely, one that would demand everything of them.
I lit a second lantern in my hand, the first whisper of rebellion against the darkness. The night had not ended. The lantern waited.
And so would I.